But PG-13 for the stuff that I saw in this movie. Did we watch the same movie? Hey nerds, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing another movie review, yay! Today I'm going to be talking about the original Color Purple, 1985. Yes, the one with Whoopi Goldberg and Oprah Winfrey, okay? I feel like this has been overdue since I brought it up in my video about the black movies that I haven't seen. So it's time that I finally watched it for the first time in my life last week, and I want to talk about it now. But before we do that, please leave a like. It really helps me and I appreciate it. Thank you. Now let's get into this. Where to start? If y'all hear like whooshing in the background, I don't know what a better word to use. It probably is one. If you hear like whooshing sounds in the background, it is very windy outside, and it's like the wind is howling. That's why it's going like, you know, okay. The Color Purple is a 1985 drama that follows the main character Celie, played by Whoopi Goldberg. After being separated from her sister and her father, Celie endures a lifetime of abuse and neglect. Throughout the movie, we see her develop new friendships and hanging on to the hope that she will one day find her sister again. Little summary for you, you know, if you haven't seen it. Many spoiler warning. I'm not gonna spoil like a whole lot like I usually do, but like tiny spoiler warning. Not that much, but I'm gonna just say it, so I'm gonna section this one off just like I did Saltburn, okay? I'm doing it for real this time. I'm actually putting effort into it. Let's get into the details. So first thing I want to say or bring up is this movie was directed by the legend Steven Spielberg. If you don't know who that is, where you been? Maybe where you been at? He directed other classics, timeless classics like Jaws, E.T., Jurassic Park, just to name a few. I gotta say, Steven did a phenomenal job. Like when I saw that he was like the director, like underneath like the info of the movie, I said, oh, I'm in for a treat, and I very much was. The visual effects and the ambiance of certain scenes, it was just very, it wasn't overwhelming, but it was breathtaking and very stimulating, like to the eyes, you know what I mean? Most of this movie takes place outside, okay? They're in the South, it's like what, mid 20th century? Most of this movie takes place outside, and the scenes where they're outside, whether it be sunshine, rain, nighttime, there's something so like, I can't put the words to it. I'm a sucker for like nature shots, and there was like quite a few of them in this movie. Just so pleasing to the eye. Well done, Steven. Like just well done. The way that, you know, these scenes were filmed, it just does something to your senses. I know it did to me. I loved it. Thank you. The film just comes alive in a sense. I can't really explain it. I'm usually better at articulating my thoughts, but it's beautiful, astounding. In short, okay, thank you. So obviously purple has major significance in this movie because it's called The Color Purple, duh. And I know it's because of the flowers and like a line that Suge says about the color purple, like towards the end of the movie, you know. But I want to get into like me personally, like what I took from that. The mention of the color purple like leads me to my next thing, which is the field of flowers. Now in the beginning of the movie, Celie and her sister Nettie are seen frolicking and playing in a field of flowers. I don't know if they're violets. They look too bright to be violets. I don't know, but they're purple flowers, okay? And also near the end of the movie, Celie is in a flower field. I don't know if it's the same one with those purple flowers, but this time she's with Suge. This jumped out at me because it gave me something to interpret, and what I got from that is like no matter where you go, like how old you get, who you become, your inner child is still within you. Let me explain. I say that because the Field of Flowers was Celie's happy place as a child. Like, you see how carefree she was, and just, you know, she was just in a really happy place in that field, especially because I think it's because what I think is, obviously it's an obvious observation, like she associates that field with being with her sister, and her sister and her are like this, and so she just has nothing but positive feelings for her sister, and sharing that field, that, you know, interaction in that field with her sister, it creates a positive environment. And when we see her again in that same setting with Suge, if you watch the movie, if you know, you know, she seems to be back in that happy place that she's been away from for so long, and she seems at peace, and I know that her inner child is at peace. That's what I kind of got from it. Now, I may be reaching, you know, but this is just my opinion. This is not fact or canon. This is just what I thought upon viewing the movie, okay? The acting in this, the acting in this, like, oh my gosh. Like, I knew Whoopi Goldberg was good, but she acted her ass off in this movie. Same goes for literally every other character in this movie. Like, I don't know, listen, talent upon talent. That's strictly that. These characters and their personalities and their emotions were so believable. Like, I felt like I was watching real people, like, just live life and interact with each other and experience things. That's like the best type of acting to have. And here's my thing, I want to add this. In a movie that is this controversial and like hard on the like emotions and so drama filled, you can't have bad actors. The message is not going to land the same way. It's not going to carry out to the audience in the same way. It won't even do as good as delivering the message. You have to have good acting and good actors for you to show such a controversial and heartbreaking story. You gotta have good acting. It just wouldn't work without it. But that's just my comment. That's my thing. Now let's talk about the characters. So I already mentioned Celie, who is the main character. She really went through a raw deal for most of her life, and it was kind of hard to watch, I'm not gonna lie. Her father, if you know, you know, he SA'd her, and that resulted in her having 2 kids, which he took from her. Like, you have the nerve to like abuse this child, the one that you're raising, and then you have the nerve to say, oh, you can't have your kids though. Gotta get rid of those so your mom doesn't see. Are you serious? Like, I'm not even gonna get into that tangent. No, what? No, yeah, actually I am. We can have time. We're gonna have time today. You better get comfortable. I'm gonna talk about this. There's already so much to say about Black women being sexually assaulted, especially young Black girls. And I really do think that the setting of this movie, like the time period, really dug deep into that. And it was just like, it's the truth. I know it's the truth. It was the reality back then from some people. But oh my God, it was heavy. It was so heavy. And I also want to do a little political commentary on it as well. Don't give me that look. Don't give me that face. Don't roll your eyes. This movie is political, whether you want to agree with me or not. It's very much political. So let's talk about it like adults, okay? You want to cry, go to your mom and bitch about it. Don't do that over here. The act of sexually assaulting your own daughter and then taking away her children not only takes away her innocence and her freedom, it takes away her bodily autonomy. I know in reality that when people are like sexually assaulted and they end up getting pregnant from that, they don't want to keep the baby. Yeah, we're going there. Because it's a constant reminder of, you know, their abuser and what they went through. Celie was so... She didn't know. Celie didn't have that reaction. Celie didn't have that reaction. She wanted to keep both of her children. It's like she didn't know any better. Like, she didn't have that feeling where, I don't want to have these children because it's going to remind me of him. Every time I look at them, I'm going to see him and remember what happened. She's a child. You know what I mean? She wants to nurture and be there for her kids. And we see that when she goes to the store in that one scene and she sees her baby with another woman that, you know, her father sold the baby to, which that was a whole nother level of messed up. Like, glad you didn't kill the baby, but imagine seeing your baby in someone else's arms and you wanted, that was supposed to be you're supposed to be holding that baby. And there was a part in the movie where she asked to hold the baby and the woman said, okay, fine. And like, she was about to give her back, but like, she like lingered, you know, with the baby in her arms because she knew for a fact that that was her baby. And the fact that her dad took it away from her, and like her seeing the baby, like, the baby's alive, she's well, but she's not mine anymore. That was a whole nother level of heartbreak that I never thought I could feel, because that's it's so depressing. Like, I'm not bagging on it by any means, but it was just so emotionally heavy. And I know it's supposed to be. Trust me, I know it's supposed to be emotionally heavy. But damn, I mean. And then, as if that weren't enough, her father marries her off to this grown-ass man, mind you. His name is Albert, but he's referred to as Mr. throughout most of the movie by Celie and Nettie and whoever else. Messed up part is, Mr. is actually looking at Nettie, the sister. And I don't know if you're like, I don't know who's older. I don't know if Celie's older or if Nettie's older. I don't remember that being like spoken about in the film. I just know that they're close in age. But he's like, I want to marry Nettie, she's pretty. And then the dad's like, no, because he's told her no because he wanted, you know, Nettie for himself, which is disgusting. He goes, I'll give you Celie though. So he basically pushes his daughter onto this grown-ass man, and then so now she's in a whole nother house with a strange man and his 3 kids because his wife passed. So she's raising somebody else's kids. She can't even have her own, wasn't allowed to keep her own, and then she's being sexually abused by this other man. It's just like, when can Celie have a break? But when is she going to get it? I knew in the back of my mind that she was gonna get a break, but it was that light was dimming as I kept watching the movie. I'm like, is she ever gonna get a break? Is she ever gonna be happy? And my hopes were already at the bottom of the barrel, like the first 15 minutes of the movie, because how much more can this teenage girl take is what I was thinking. Like, the entire time my heart just ached for her, especially her teenage girl self. My heart ached and broke for her. And she tries so hard to find some semblance of love and kindness within her dad, within Mr. She does eventually find that, which is great, but the journey there it was hard. It was very hard. To me, Celie is the textbook example of a dynamic character. The gradual but well-paced transition from this scared and weak, helpless little girl to a strong, ambitious, independent woman was so refreshing. So, like, I was like, oh, finally, she's doing it. She's doing it. Like, she's getting her happy ending. Like, thank goodness. My dog won't shut up. I don't know who he's talking to right now. Who's he talking to? He's interrupting my shoot. I'm about to go bring him inside. Hold on, y'all. Moving on to Sophia. Sophia has my heart. That's just about it. No, I'm kidding. But Sophia has my heart. She's Celie's stepdaughter-in-law. If you watch the movie, you know about that. But she's her stepdaughter-in-law and also a newfound friend. She's rebellious. She's outspoken. She's strong. Physically, mentally, emotionally strong. She's just awesome. And I thought that was very nice to see, especially like regarding the time and place that this movie is taking. Like a woman who is outspoken and like doesn't take no shit. Give it to me now. She was my favorite, hands down. We love Sophia. Going on to Shug Avery. Now, Shug Avery is a famous singer in the movie, like a cabaret singer, jazz singer, whatever you want to call it. And she ends up staying with Mr. and Celie for a period of time. Now, at first, she's acting like the typical celebrity, like uppity, and the world revolves around her. Everywhere I walk is a red carpet. She's being a snob, essentially, at first. But after making a connection with Celie, because she was showing her vulnerable side to her, she eventually softens up and becomes a better person. Because at first, she was very mean and disrespectful and ungrateful and bitter towards both Mr. and Celie, but the difference is Mr. deserved it because he's f***ing awful. Like, she would say how ugly she is and, like, you know, basically degrade her every chance she got, which is never okay. She then began to befriend Celie and confide in her about things, and there was also a bit of romance, which people are mad about still to this day, even with the remake, which I'm not understanding because if I'm not mistaken, I haven't read the book, so if y'all read the book, y'all can correct me. I think they may have kissed in the book. They definitely kissed in this version, and I haven't seen the remake or the new one of the Broadway adaptation, but I'm sure they kissed in that one too. Get over it. Like, just shut up. It's okay. They can kiss and have it be fine. Shut up. But those are all of the characters that I wanted to highlight, because those were the characters that didn't like make me feel visceral anger toward them. I mean, Nettie didn't make me feel that way. She was just like an angel, you know, and she's her sister's keeper for sure. I guess because Nettie wasn't very like present in the movie, I didn't like build as strong as of a connection or, you know, with her like Shug and Sophia and Celie, but nonetheless, she was so sweet and she was her sister's keeper, and like that bond that they had, even from halfway across the road when she came back. I just spoiled. Sorry, but you know what I'm trying to say. So for my final thoughts, I wanted to reference my video entitled Black Movies I Haven't Seen, because this was the first movie that I listed in that video. And I said this, like, in the Black community, this movie is very revered and like cherished by many. Very, very sacred movie in our culture. And I knew this. You know, if you want more of a deep dive on that whole thing, go back and watch that video if you wanna, okay? And I finally watched it for the first time in my life, and I'm gonna be honest, I don't see what the big deal is. Don't attack me. Do not come for my neck. Let me speak, please. You know, don't get me wrong. I enjoyed the movie. The movie was astounding. I thought it was great. Now, I guess what that is coming from is like the time that it was released and the content that the film had, and that was what made it a classic, which I see why it's deemed a classic. And I knew going into this movie that it was going to be about a Black woman's oppression and tragedy, you know, and usually that's something that I don't like to feed into, because I want to see success stories that don't rely heavily on those two things. And I know that was the reality back in those days. It still is to this day. I'm not discrediting that by any means. I'm just saying I prefer to see happy stories with happy endings, not with abuse and oppression and tragedy and death. Like, can we have something, I said this in the last video, can we have something like positive? But I like this movie. I think it's great. My dad and I, we bond over movies. Like, that's how we, you know, build our relationship. We've been doing that since I was a kid. And he was very interested to hear what I thought about the movie, because like I said, I had never seen it before in my life, and as I mentioned before, it's a staple in black culture. So he was like, yeah, as soon as you watch it, let me know what you think. I want to hear what you gotta say. We talked on the phone for a long time about it. I want to add this. Did y'all know that this movie is rated PG-13? Go ahead and Google check it. I'll give you a minute. Now look, I know standards of like rating movies was different back in the 80s. I understand that completely, with like the censorship and what have you. But PG-13 for the stuff that I saw in this movie, did we watch the same movie? PG-13? More like rated R. Rated R is more like it, but I digress. That is crazy. And then still by today's standards it's considered PG-13. Like if you go look up the 1985 version and check the rating, it still says PG-13. I don't think so. I don't think so. I'm sorry. PG-13, bro. And my dad went into a whole spiel about that because he was alive. And obviously he was alive in 1985, and he was like, yeah, things were just different back then. They didn't know there was a gray area between, you know, PG-13 and R. Like it was kind of in the middle, so they just went with PG-13. I disagree, but okay. Like there's no way this movie is PG-13. Can't be. If you don't believe me, go check the Google, okay? I'll give you some time and you can come back. Yeah, but overall, movie, like 9.5 out of 10. I keep stomping my foot and shaking the camera. I'm sorry. 9.5 out of 10. I've thoroughly enjoyed this movie. Oh, especially the score. I thought the score was just delicate in all the ways that it can be delicate. Even in like the very hard to watch scenes, the score was done right. So I'm very thankful for that. Good acting with a good score. Like it can't get no better than that. And The Color Purple had both of those things. So yeah. But yeah, I'm done. I'm done talking. So that concludes our video for today. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like. Drop a comment or two if you want to share your thoughts about the movie. If you've seen it once or 80,000 times, let me know what you think about it, okay? And subscribe if you want to. I will see y'all on the next go around. Okay, bye.